I want you to watch this clip of Ben Shapiro and Mike Huckabee explaining why Arabs are actually not treated badly in Israel at all. In fact, they are given often superior rights or superior protection from the Israeli government. Check it out.
What people don't understand is, and if you've ever been here, obviously, you know that there are giant red signs outside of Bethlehem that basically say that if you're an Israeli citizen and you make a wrong turn here, the Israeli government cannot be held responsible for your safety. There is no similar sign for Arabs who drive into, from these areas, Israel. If you get past a roadblock and you go into Israel, you have a normal day and then you go back home. And so maybe you can talk a little bit about how Bethlehem has changed in the 50 years you've been visiting it.
When I first came here, Bethlehem was a wonderful, hospitable community. It was made up of about 80% of Arab Christians. They ran the best stores and not just souvenir shops with trinkets, but with some of the finest artists that made everything from olive wood furniture, olive wood art pieces that for one's home. And it was just a delightful place to go. In the 80s, and then especially in the 90s, when the Muslims came in and radicalized the population, they burned out their own Arab neighbors and really family members, if you will, closed down their shops, put them out of business. Many of them came to Jerusalem. Many of them just never had another place to be. They turned Bethlehem into a very different place where now it's 80% Muslim, and it's a very different place. And it's not the kind of place that you will feel as comfortable as once was. I'm not saying that everybody there is a radical, because that's not true. There are Christians there that love God. There are a lot of people that are not radicalized. But the leadership and the prevailing culture is dramatically different than it once was. You mentioned Oslo, and I'll give you a good example of why Americans don't get it. Under Oslo, everybody was supposed to have their holy sites protected, preserved, and accessible, no matter whether they were Jew, Christian, Muslim. The Israelis have lived up to that. The Israelis, this is what most people have no idea, they are as protective of Muslim worship sites as they are Jewish worship sites. If you want to get in trouble with the Israeli government, be a Jew or a Christian and try to violate the sovereignty of the Dome of the Rock, the Al-Aqsa Mosque, you're going to get hurt. And it won't be the Muslims doing it to you. It's going to be the Israeli forces that will say, you can't do this up here because we're going to respect their right to be here.
Now, going along with this trend, I wanted to showcase another video which shows that Muslims are actually treated not as second-class citizens in Israel, but in fact similar or almost the same as Israelis and Jews. Check out this clip of a Muslim woman admitting the truth about Israel.
Hold
on.
How does Israel treat Muslim religious sites?
Okay.
Are they well kept? Do they protect them? Do they allow Muslims to go visit their religious sites? How well maintained are they?
I did visit Al-Aqsa Mosque and I prayed, and it's an honor for any Muslim to go pray there. And it's a dream for so many Muslims. So I've always thought that I won't be welcomed by the Israelis, that they won't let me pray there. But I went there, no one stopped me, and they didn't know I'm Bahraini or any other nationality. They saw me as Muslim woman because of the headscarf. No one stopped me. I entered Al-Aqsa Mosque and I got to pray, and I saw it as a beautiful place, and it was filled with Muslims and Palestinians. I got to talk to so many of them at Al-Aqsa Mosque, and I think it's well kept, and I saw so many security personnel taking care of that area. I felt safe that day in Al-Aqsa Mosque.
And when you were in Israel, I assume that you were wearing your headscarf and you appeared to be a Muslim Arab woman.
Yeah.
Did you feel as though you were treated any differently than, say, like a Jew who may have been walking down the street?
No, at all. I think I was lucky. I felt I've been treated as a celebrity treatment.
Really?
People were happy I'm being there. They told me, a complete stranger told me, they were happy seeing an Arab from the neighboring countries in Israel, and I've never felt like I treated differently in a bad way.
That's awesome. Do you have any insights on, like, there's a lot of claims right now of genocide. What is your view on that? Do you think that a genocide is happening in Gaza or in the West Bank?
Unfortunately, the scene in Gaza is heartbreaking. No one wants to see anyone being killed or died because of war. So many innocent people paying the price that they don't want to pay. People want to live normal lives. They want to have jobs, dreams, families. And it breaks my heart seeing those people dying, those families, those children. But unfortunately, the situation is very complicated for both sides, for the Palestinians, innocent Palestinians in Gaza, and for the Israelis also. It's heartbreaking seeing so many people dying, but that's war, unfortunately. From my opinion, I don't think it's a genocide, but that's the price that the innocent people pays for war. And my wish is, of course, I want this to stop. I don't want anyone to get killed or dies because of this. Palestinians and Israelis, the innocent people.
And one last question, and if you don't have an answer, it's totally fine. We'll just chop the end off. What do you think is to be done with Hamas? Do you have any ideas of, like, what the solution is to sort of remedying the situation, making peace, things like that?
I think the best solution is for Hamas to care about Palestinians, to let them live their life. I think disarm and release the hostages. They deserve to go back home. And I think this is the best solution for both the Israelis and for the Palestinians. I saw so many videos, Palestinians saying, we want a ceasefire. We don't want this. So many people are dying. They just want to live, and they deserve that.
So I'm not sure I agree with her. A little bit of an ignoramus view on Gaza and the ideology that resides there. However, she is making a great point. She is a Muslim, went to Israel. I think she lives in Israel, perhaps, or maybe not. And they treat her fine. There's no animosity there. All you have to do is look at, and if the opposite were to happen, if a Jew were to trolley-lolly-law into an Arab country, specifically those that are antagonistic to Israel, they would have a very hard time of it. Whether that would mean they would actually be threatened, I'm not 100% sure. But if Jews go into hostile Arab neighborhoods, I can show you literal videos that were sent to me of Jews that stumbled into the wrong neighborhood, and they knew they were in enemy territory. They were literally attacked and nearly life-threatening injuries sustained by going into the wrong neighborhood. I have cousins, I have family members that are dealing with Arabs on a daily basis in hostile environments. And so, again, it's great that the Jewish state treats Muslims in an amazing way, but it should be reciprocated, and it should be demanded that there's a reciprocal attitude from the Muslim and Arab states that surround Israel. For more, subscribe to the channel. If you want to help us make more of these videos, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JewishUncensored. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.